All right, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of SideQuest Podcast. Listen in and level up. I have a great episode for you today, but first, as always, let's get through the show notes. If you're not following the Facebook page, head over to Facebook, type SideQuest Fitness into the search bar, and like the page. There, you're going to get updates on podcast episodes, articles when they get posted, and you're going to get a brand new taco recipe every Tuesday for Taco Camp. Plus lots of other shenanigans and nerd talk throughout the week, so make sure you head over to Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is SideQuestFM. If you want to see some cool videos and random stuff on Instagram as well, you can follow me on Instagram. Same handle, SideQuestFM. Or follow me on Snapchat, SideQuestFit. Follow me there. Send me your questions. I want to get all the questions from you, help you as much as I can on your fitness journey or your journey in life, whatever it may be. But head over to Snapchat, SideQuestFit. Follow me there. You get a little more personal, in-depth look at the shenanigans I get into throughout every day. But I do love getting questions from the community, so please send them out to me. If you have not left a review for the podcast, please head over to iTunes. If you're not listening on iTunes and you're listening on SoundCloud or Stitcher, leave a review there as well. When you leave reviews, it helps me move up the charts on the iTunes store so that more people can see and hear the amazing guests that I've had on and have on each and every single week. So make sure you head over there. And don't forget, if you haven't picked up your copy of the 7 Principles of Fat Loss, head over to sidequestfitness.com/7 principles, and you can pick up your copy of the 7 Principles of Fat Loss. These are the same 7 principles I follow each and every day and teach my clients to help them shred away more body fat, unlock heroic strength, and just look better naked. So if you want to unlock strength or just look better naked in the mirror, head over again, grab those 7 principles of fat loss, and start following those today. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. So over the last few months, you have heard me talking about my online clients, and you've heard from a few of my online clients as well about what they've done on their fitness quest with me. With summer heading in, I am taking a few more clients on to help people get ready for summer, help you get ready for bikini season or swimsuit season, or maybe this is your first time. Maybe you've decided that that's it. You want to get in shape, and you need someone to help you with your journey. On your journey, you need a Gandalf and a Samwise to guide you as you head into Frodo. And I am your Gandalf and Samwise all packed in to one. I am taking on a few more clients. If you are interested, head over to sidequestfitness.com/coach and check out the page. You can apply there. You can find out more about what coaching entails and also see some of the amazing transformations that my clients have had while working with me. So head over to sidequestfitness.com/coach and apply today. Yeah. I know it's been a really long time since I put a podcast episode out, but that's okay because I have an amazing episode for you today. My good friend Mike Doehla of Stronger You Nutrition is on the show. Guys, we go into a lot of really deep, really awesome stuff, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about fitness, how it applies to your life, how both of those apply. We get nerdy, and I mean real nerdy at the end on Star Wars. So stay until the end. We get so super nerdy that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the theories we go into, the things we talk about. If you love Star Wars, you want to stay tuned for that. But there's a lot of really great gems in here about just getting fit, losing fat, motivation, and all that stuff. Guys, I'm going to shut up. It's time to listen to Mike Doehla of Stronger You.
Step up and you gotta get it fitness. Host Rob at the moment and the quest is you gotta check it and wreck it. You're breaking personal records and with the help of the guests you won't be guessing on the lessons. That's a +5 years. Got a low-key band right here. You wanna meet him, there's no better way to greet him than to strike a boss pose. Take a look into the mirror.
I'm like Mikey from the Goonies.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. I have a great show for you today. I have a gentleman on who has started an amazing coaching business, an amazing fitness business. I got to meet him and some of his fellow employees at the Fitness Summit in May, and then he rolled up in New York at the Roman Fitness Systems Mastermind and made all of us feel like we're stupid idiots who don't know how to do it. But he's just also a really cool dude. And some of the things he's written, I've been like, I'm going to steal that idea and write something about that. But just a really, really awesome guy, and I wanted to get him on. Mike, how do I butcher your last name? Doehla?
You got it, man. You nailed it. Doehla. That's correct.
It took me almost 2 years with Nick Sorrell to actually get his last name correct. And he was like, he came on the podcast for like 6 months. And he was like, nope, 6 months and you haven't said it right.
What is it? Sorrell?
Sorrell.
That's what I thought. So I nailed it.
Yeah, I was like, Nick Sorrell. And he was like, nope.
Sorrell.
Nope, you're not getting that right. You're not getting that right. Mike, thank you so much for coming on. So you recently, and we were chatting a little about this, and this is something just that I need to talk about for myself right now and people that are listening. I think it applies to being in the gym and fat loss and whatever your goal is in life. You recently started this business. It's like crushing. Your clients are getting amazing results. And you just went to Hawaii for vacation. And we were talking a little bit about why it's hard to pull away. Why is it hard for you and for someone like myself, really hard to pull away and stop working and take time off?
I think it's because we know what works and what got us here. And any little hiccup in that is in our heads going to send things backwards. So when I know like I can wake up and I could just be dialed in all day, when there's a little change in plans, I'm thinking all hell is going to break loose. It's just a different routine, and it just gets in my head like pretty bad. Obviously I'm like that, and I can tell you, and
my wife knows it. Tanner Bays knows it. Tanner actually really, really hates being around me when my schedule gets all fucked up because he's like, Jesus Christ, you turned into such a little pain in the ass. Like I freak out because I'm just so used to having a schedule and a set routine that anything that gets thrown into it really screws it up. But our clients are like that as well. And everyone who's listening, you've had those moments where you're crushing it. All of a sudden life like throws a wrench at you and you're just like, oh, great. So what do you tell your clients, and why is it hard for you to take your own medicine when it comes to taking time off from work?
Dude, that's a really good point, and I never even thought about that because we're so preachy about like, hey, shit's going to happen, deal with it, you'll figure it out, here's how you figure it out, but I just can't do it myself. And it's something I work on. Like my girlfriend and everyone around me is like, dude, chill out. Everything's going to be fine. And that's why I have like my best friend works for us and he's our COO. And he's basically just the guy that keeps me in check and does the things that I suck at. And he's like, dude, just relax. Everything's fine. You're good to go. And it's pretty much what we tell clients about food. Like, here's how you adapt. Here's what you have to do to change. Here's what you have to do to not mess up and, talk to me when you need help.
The thing I wonder in thinking about this is that we tell our clients that, and I think many of them see the after picture and They think like, okay, when I'm there and I look like that, then like my health markers are going to be increased. But just being active for like a month and seeing a little bit of change is going to improve your health markers drastically more than where they were if you had not done anything. Business is not like that, though. It's not like you start a business and in 4 weeks you're like, man, I've got maybe you got $1,000. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But like even a year or two into it, it still feels like you're going to wake up one morning and the bottom is going to fall out.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I think it, like for us, it's funny because no one even knows who we are still. Like we all have this fitness world on Facebook and online is very small. Like a lot of us are friends, but most people never even heard of Stronger You. Like we're still super far under the radar, but then they see us and they're like, holy crap, you guys have been probably crushing it for years. And it's like, no, we kind of just started, but everything that people see is like years in the making and years of messing up and not knowing what the hell I was doing. And it just all kind of fell into place eventually. And it's not, it's not something that just is an easy thing, as anyone in the fitness industry understands.
And I think that's something that, there are things I know in the world and people I know that I'm like, oh yeah, this person. I'm like, I've never heard of that person. Don't know them at all. But you know, in what you said there is that like it takes some years and you get to know these things, and what people see now for a stronger you, or what people see now, well, for me, I mean, I here's the thing, like, I'll be honest, you know, and there's, and we can talk about your transformation real quick, like, and how you got into this world. But for me, you know, I was the chubby kid growing up. My mom shopped in the husky section. Which was like the worst phrase to tell a kid, because I was like, husky. You mean like husky, like the dog? Like they're kind of cute. And then you see a husky and you're like, oh, I'm a big fat furball is what you're calling me. It
is a weird term to, I mean, do they still do that? I know everything's a little more PC now, so I'm assuming they took it away.
I have no idea. And I don't know if that was something that like was a distinction between like my family in the certain area that I grew up in, but I remember my mom being like, well, we got to go to the husky section and Kmart. Like, why don't you just call me a fat ass, Mom?
You're at Kmart and in the husky section.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. But now I don't even remember where I was going with that story. So our sort of backgrounds on what people see in our business and us. You know, people see me now and they're like, God, man, you're like huge. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand the backstory. You don't know where I came from.
Right.
So a little bit of your backstory and now how much of that struggle has influenced where Stronger You is and where you are as a coach.
Right. I was like that normal, skinny, small kid that wanted to be jacked and lean and strong and athletic and all this stuff. And I was athletic growing up. Nothing crazy, just decent at sports. But I was small. I was a skinny kid. I wanted to get bigger. I wanted to look better. I thought it would help me with girls and all this stuff. Turns out it's more about your listening skills and security that gets women. But I tried everything. I never tried anything long enough to see it work. I did it long enough to see it not work. Like you could imagine, the paleo diets, eat everything in sight. And then I kind of got like skinny fat. I didn't really gain muscle, but I thought I did. And then I saw a picture of myself on a cruise and I was like, whoa, like this isn't what I want. And just years of trial and error and meeting the right people, educating myself, really good friends and mentors just kind of led me to the right thing. And I was never like the obese person. So while I can relate with struggles of food and, you know, I can crush food if you put it in front of me, I don't have that thing that's like pulling me psychologically that some do. And that's why we have the staff that does do that. But my story isn't like I was super obese and now I'm like a normal person. I'm still, pretty normal person, semi-fit, not jacked, not ripped, semi look like I work out, depending on the right lighting. But that's pretty much my personal story with that stuff.
How much of that influences the way you coach?
Probably everything. And my career, my former career in customer service is like, I really understand people well. And I think, that's the hardest part for a lot of coaches. I think they know fitness and nutrition, but they don't understand struggle and customer service. And, I guess just the dedication to like the timeliness and urgency is what people really need. And that's kind of like my style, if you will.
So the question that sort of popped in my head there, and when you said, you're very good at listening and you understand people really well, I immediately thought of like, oh man, I bet Mike's that guy at the bar that like knows everyone's story because they just like, they gravitate towards him. And he's like, I just want to have a beer by myself. I don't want to know about your 4 divorces and your marital problems, but you just seem to be that person. So you understand people, you've done customer service. Now, this is a question that can go to anyone who's a coach who's listening, but I think it's more of a human question. What are people missing, or what do we not understand about other people that could actually benefit us in making our lives and other people's lives in the world a better place?
I think just putting yourself in someone else's shoes is huge. Everyone kind of thinks of every situation from their own shoes, whether it's money, health, relationships, etc. Someone makes a decision, they see it on social media, they instantly think of themselves making that decision. So you have to think like you're another person. I think that's the biggest thing, is not being so caught up in your own head.
It's interesting you say that, because when we started the podcast, you're like, I'm caught up in my own head all the time.
I am. I'm a big hypocrite.
Well, no, that's something I would love to dive into, because it's my own demon. I don't know. Hypocrisy has always been something that has just blown me away. Like growing up in the Bible Belt, for people,
Right.
like, I grew up a Quaker, so Quakers are the main tenet of Quakerism is to be a pacifist. You don't believe in war. So even if there ever was a draft, I could still claim non-combatant because I have a membership still in Quaker Church, even though I don't go. So thanks, Mom and Dad. But I was around Quakers who were so like pro-war and pro-Bush, and this is not like a political thing. I'm not trying to like dive into anti-Bushism, but like I was like, wait a minute. The main tenet of being a Quaker is that you don't believe in war. You're basically breaking your entire like denomination by having that.
Right.
How do you deal like with those weird moments of hypocrisy that you have in yourself?
Oh, dude, I try to I probably spend more time evaluating what I say and what I do more than most people. And as stupid as it sounds, like I'll put, you know how the fitness world is. We post these fitness posts, and I'm like, shit, is anything I'm saying going to go against anything I said before? And I'm like, well, I've said 1,000 things, probably. And then someone tries to call you out on something, and you're like, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. So just thinking a lot, trying not to be a hypocrite. But I'm so guilty of it. I wouldn't be a coach if I wasn't. I wouldn't know how to coach people if I wasn't. So
what about being a hypocrite makes you a better coach?
You've experienced it. You know the BS when you see it. Like if someone says, sorry, man, I messed up my day. It was my friend's birthday. Well, I've been there. I've done that. Here's how I fixed it. I was a hypocrite once because I wanted to get in shape, but I made an excuse and didn't really do it. And now here's how I can help you do better at it. So
that's something that a coach brings to you that you can't get yourself because you can't see yourself, out of your own eyes.
Right.
So, why do you think, coaching is the thing that most people are really missing? Like, and when it comes down to it, like we know these things and we've both experienced coaching, whether, in fitness, business, whatever. And we've experienced experimenting with paleo and doing this workout and that kind of workout and this and that. Is it really like just having someone there behind your back and giving you guidance that is possibly the biggest reason why most people are not seeing success?
I think so. I think it completely takes out the emotion and it gives you objectivity. There's no emotion involved in the decision. It's this makes sense or this doesn't. If, like, for example, for me, if I go on vacation and I have a little fun and I feel like I need to make up for it when I get home, a coach may say, just get back and ride it out. But in my head, I might say, well, no, I need to do this, this, and that. And then I might set myself down the wrong path. Whereas a coach is he's not going to worry about how my head is feeling in this situation. Obviously, we care about people's mind in other situations, but in something like this, it's just do your thing. I have the data. I know what works. Let's go this route. You're not allowed to mess up, basically.
Okay. All right. So, Mike, what was your favorite thing about Hawaii? Because I saw a lot of those pictures, and it looks like paradise.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm all excited already.
No, talk. I'm not here to I'm here to listen and have you talk. What was the best part about Hawaii?
Dude, it's like, it sounds so weird, but like you can't believe this is Earth. Like Earth is this crazy place that all these magical things are happening, and the landscape and the people and the food and just everything is just so cool. I don't know if there's a way to describe like the coolest thing or the best part. The coast of Nepali with like it's just you just pull up to an island and it's just walls. Like it's just crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. I wish I saw a volcano, but that wasn't on the island we were on. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, and I know they filmed a lot of the show Lost in Hawaii, and some other show, they've done some other things in there as well. But it's one of those places I've always wanted to go, but it feels like it's so expensive to get there. Like I want to go to Australia, but I'm like, I don't want to spend 18 hours on a flight.
I would. Oh my God! I mean, our flight there was split up because we were in San Francisco, so it was like 5.5 hours. But on the way home, it's like we lost a day of our lives, and then we got home and we're like, "What? I don't even know what day it is." It's pretty far, but yeah, those plane tickets are a little expensive. So the Caribbean for us on the East Coast is probably the next best thing. And I like to say Hawaii is kind of like the Caribbean on steroids. It's just a little bit better. It's just a little more fun. But you know, it's a trip.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you even try to like stay in a gym, and or were you just like, I'm on vacation, F it, I don't care?
Yeah. So this is something I kind of like to talk about this whole tracking macros thing. There's going to be times where you just can't do it. And this is one of those times. I'm on vacation. I'm just going to not eat like an asshole. That's my goal. I didn't track anything. I was aware of what I was eating, but I still enjoyed. I was very active. I went to the gym a little bit, but we hiked, we kayaked, we swam, we ran. So I came back the same exact weight, just with those little habits that I think I developed over time.
What was the hardest one of those habits for you to develop?
Not eating like an asshole was probably the hardest one.
Describe eating like an asshole to me, because I know what eating an asshole is like, but I don't know what eating like an asshole is like.
Yeah, it's like the definition of porn. When you see it, you know what it is. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but this is what it is.
So there's softcore eating like an asshole,
right?
And there's hardcore. Is there fetish eating like an asshole? Is that when you dress up in some like cosplay stuff?
I dress up like a hula woman and eat spam. No, but man, it was hard because everything there, like we were at a really nice resort and the food there was just like top notch. The prices were actually influential towards my decisions not to eat like an asshole because I would have came back broke. But I did like 2 big meals a day. Both of them I could have probably went a little harder than I did, but I just tried to maintain a little bit, not get too crazy.
Yeah. So Mike, what spurred you to leave customer service and create Stronger You? What was the catalyst, for you to do this?
Oh man, it's like I just said in our podcast. I think life is too damn short to do what you don't want to do all day. And sitting in an office doing what was actually, good work for the world at the time, it just wasn't what I like to do. If I wake up, I don't want to have to go do something I don't want to do. And it's crazy to me that this world we live in, almost every single person has to do that. And I almost feel guilty at times because we're fortunate that we created this thing that we're giving a lot of people really awesome, flexible jobs. And most people have to wake up and go do something they don't want to do. And that just didn't sit well with me. So I did whatever I could to try to change that.
So this is something I have a really hard time talking to people about. And I've talked to a friend of mine before, and he said this to me, and it kind of made sense to me, but also it kind of made me want to like half slap him. But I wrestled with him before and he kicked my ass, so I'm not even going to try that. But he was like, my dad told me once, Robbie, he goes, son, not everyone is meant to be an alpha. Some people are happy just being a beta. And I use that like not in a colloquial sense, not as in like alpha male. But like some people might be happy in those instances, and that's fine. But how do you talk to people like when you say that? Because it's hard for me. I'm like, I don't want to do shit I don't like, which starts an argument with my wife sometimes. She's like, no, clean the house. I'm like, I don't want to do it. other things as well. But like, how do you have that conversation with someone? How do you let them know what your thing was? Because most people probably don't like their job, but leaving your job, not having income when you have responsibilities is really terrifying.
And it's offensive to be like, hey, I don't think people should be doing what they don't want to do. And it's like, we have to. Like, I had to do that. When I stopped doing it is the moment I didn't have to financially. So it is hard to say like, hey, you should jump ship. But we're in this like weird entrepreneurial, like, is the cool thing era right now. And people pretend it's easy. And it's like the hardest thing in the world. Like, how the hell do you make money for yourself that can support you and other people?
I'd rather play fucking Battletoads. It's so much easier.
Right. That one what's it called? That one level that no one could get past. And it's impossible. But it's weird because like I want every single person on this earth to either do their own thing or do what they want to do for someone else, which is what I think a lot of our people are. They're flexible as hell, but they're doing what they want to do. They're talking about their hobby all day with people, and they're helping people, and they're getting paid to do it. And I wish everyone could be able to do that, but I wish I had the advice to give everyone to make that happen, and I don't think it exists. And there's a lot of people out there that are trying to give that advice on YouTube and all these ads, and make $1 million and quit your job with an internet business. It's like, come on, this doesn't happen. This isn't real life.
Well, and the thing is, like, it does happen for some people, and I mean, I'm not making $1 million yet. But like, I'm not there yet, and yeah, some people are, and I think it goes back to what we started the show with. Is like, look, some people have spent 5 years really building this body, their business, and new people to it are like, oh, I want to look like you. Yeah, well, it's going to take like 5 years. And there are some people who have like crazy 6-month turnarounds. Like, they either like have a niche that they figure out, or they just have a lot of friends that want them to like do this thing. And it's crazy, but it happens. What is like, whether diet, whether business, or just life, what is like the one sort of, and I'm going to say get rich quick scheme? Like, what's the one sort of quick hack that you really despise?
Oh my God. I don't even know. I'm trying to think here. As long as you work a lot, you'll be successful. Like, there's a lot of time being wasted that people just think that, oh, as long as I keep working, it's going to happen. But you might be working towards something really, really stupid. And I hate, I don't want to sound like that, but there's some people that are doing things that I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like, yeah, you might be quote unquote hustling for 15 hours a day, but your hustle what you're trying to do is just not going to work. And there's no way you can say it to people without sounding like a jerk, Yeah. It's just like this hustle mentality. As long as you work hard and spend the time, you're going to be okay. Well, not always.
I'm not going to lie, Mike. I am one of those guys who will just grind his face off. And I have for, almost 2.5 years. And, the first year was rough. The second year was better. Mm-hmm. But like, things are still, you're in the mires. You're in the muck sometimes, and you're just doing what you can. But just hustling your face off doesn't always work, and sometimes it just leads to burnout, and it leads to you, wanting to lay in a corner and sing Dashboard Confessional all day because you have nothing left inside of you. When that happens, Mike, when you feel that burnout coming, what do you do?
Oh man, there's probably about 3 situations since we started this, almost 2.5 years in now, that I just felt like burnt out. And this is where I have to like just step back and slow down. And this is where I'm lucky to have help. I just step back, I breathe, I do something else. I take a nap. I let something sit a little longer than I normally would. And my whole thing, that makes me crazy because I'm super quick with people, and I think that really helped our business grow. So when I have to make people wait a little longer for me to get my own shit together, I feel guilty about it. But I just step back and chill and realize everything's going to be just fine. I'm a pretty relaxed person in that sense.
I mean, when I met you for the second time, like when you came to the mastermind in the end of June, I was like, this guy's really relaxed, and we're all sitting over, like, all of us were literally like, I fucking hate this guy. What is he doing? How do we get? Oh my! Like, to hear how big you guys have gotten in 2.5 years. You literally had we all wanted to bum rush you and just like either siphon your blood or like eat your brain and try and get some of that shit to happen for us, because it just blew all of us away.
It was kind of funny.
I had a feeling you could sense that energy from everyone, that they were like,
I mean, it's a little weird because like when I walked in, I recognized a few guys. Like I knew you, I knew Nick, Roman. I talked to like messaging a little bit. Like I talked to him at the fitness summit. I don't think he had any clue that I was the same person. But no one really knew who we were or who I was there. And then like they brought me up on the hot seat and we tell our story. And I just remember seeing everyone's jaws like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, and it's so funny because I don't do the traditional things that a lot of people do, like with the email lists and the blog posts, and like I'm way behind on that stuff. We want to get better at it. Yeah, I mean, it depends how you look at it, right? But all my time was spent on talking to my clients, so I didn't have time to do a blog or a time to make these email lists and things like that. And I just got so caught up in like being present and spending like legit like 5 hours a day on Facebook, probably more actually, just being available and present. And I think that was huge for our growth.
Yeah. Yeah. When you feel listened to, people are like, hey, you know what? I'm listened to. I'm going to do this thing. Number one tip for a successful relationship, folks, Robbie has learned that the hard way. Listen more, shut the fuck up and listen more.
This
and read the 5 love languages. Read the 5 love languages. That's it. Read it. Learn it. Discover which one you speak and she or he speaks. So
clean the house, number 6.
Yeah. I mean, I'm keeping the kitchen really clean. That's
the food prep area.
Yeah, man. Here's the thing, though, Mike. I'm also really lazy with food prep. Like, my wife has been doing Blue Apron for like over a year, and I've written about it a couple times, and it's not bad. It's not horrible, but it makes macro planning a little difficult. Just because you don't have control over these things. And I don't care what food tastes like. I will pour hot sauce. If it tastes like shit, just give me hot sauce. I'll make it taste better. But yeah, me just crock pot, some sort of carbs, I don't care. I don't need a lot. Let's get to some fun questions, and then we'll this is usually where the conversation turns away from fitness and turns into whatever.
Let's do it.
Mike, if you could go anywhere in a time machine, where would you go?
Oh man, probably the mid '90s, and I'd go watch Michael Jordan play every day in Chicago and eat Chicago pizza. I think that's probably where I'd go.
I think I'm down with that.
I mean, can I go? I'm assuming I can go forward, but I think you
can do whatever you want to do with a time machine.
I think shit'll hit the fan in like 20 years, and I'm paranoid that Facebook will go away and I'll have no business left.
What's interesting is I do, so Gary Vee has said this before, and it's really true. And I noticed it this summer with one thing that's been like the hot thing. But he's like, there's really nothing new under the sun. It just evolves and becomes different. Everyone this summer, every almost corner of New York, everyone is selling fidget spinners. Okay.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Here's what a fidget spinner really is. It's a fucking yo-yo without a string.
Right. It just spins and that's it.
That's it.
It keeps you busy.
But it doesn't even really do that. Like one, our brains are already overloaded. Giving kids that is not what they need. They probably need, some attention because we're not giving it to them. Or if you're like me, just leave me alone, Dad. I want to play video games. I'm going to go play Zelda. Or make up imaginary basketball teams. That's what I did as well. Yeah. But it's interesting to see how these things change. Facebook, like the Roman Forum. The Forum is where business was done. It's where you went and you met. And that kind of changed as Rome, died out and the market sort of became, kind of the same idea. The town square, downtown became that area. The church in early American history was sort of where all those things kind of went down. Facebook has kind of become the new area where everyone can congregate because you don't have to go anywhere. So no, it's not new. It's just an evolved way of meeting up in the town square.
And I don't think it's going anywhere. People are like, oh, all the young people are on Snapchat, but they can't really communicate the same.
No.
So I think we're good with Facebook.
Yeah, it will morph and change, and Instagram has already taken away some of Snapchat's thunder. I think Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Apple will be the brands that last the rest of this century. I think they will become the Coca-Cola. I don't want to say Kodak, but I'm trying to think like even in like the 1900s, like a big brand like Coca-Cola, Ford, there'll be these iconic things that last, like Verizon, Sprint. I think all that will go the way of the dodo when those companies start doing all that stuff and stop trying to jack customers and bend them over and fuck them in the ass like every ISP is trying to do, because they'll be like, we'll make it cheaper, we'll be good to our customers because you're going to be shopping on our platforms and you're never going to leave.
Right. I think that's why Amazon is like the most interesting company to me, because they're just like, everything is just right there. They're getting into so many things.
Well, the CIA uses their servers. Like,
so nuts.
Yeah, like Amazon, like literally a ton of the stuff you do is done on Amazon. You just don't know it. So like and I don't think it's Bezos. Like, I think he just got people in around him who said, let's do this. And he was like, I mean, let's do it.
That's my goal.
Yeah. So Mike, what's the last new thing you've tried? You've been to Hawaii. You've done some cool stuff. What's the last new thing you've tried?
Oh, man. What is the last new thing I tried? I don't want to say skydiving. That was probably a couple years ago. That was fun, but crazy. Last new thing. Could be food. Could be anything. I mean, I guess could sound stupid, but starting our own podcast, like I was freaked out about that. Like, I'm cool being on the other end, but being in charge of it and like running it, asking questions, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I just kind of just do it, and see what happens. What else? Built a house. That was a pain in the ass process. Don't ever do that. No, that was cool, but it's a lot of BS to deal with.
Yeah. Do you think it's better to just rent, or do you now own?
I mean, I owned a house before, but we built a house, my girlfriend and I together. Relatively easy process, but so much bullshit. You figure you pay a guy or a builder to do something for you, and they just start building things the complete opposite way. And luckily you catch it in time and don't get the bathroom you don't want. It's a good problem to have, I guess. Build a house and then have to go in and tell a guy not to do something. But it was a pain in the ass process.
All right. Mike, what's the most money you've ever drunkenly spent on fast food?
Oh, probably like $26 at Taco Bell or McDonald's.
Yes.
I think McDonald's is like my go-to, like after a night of drinking.
But all right.
Yeah. Oh man, we had I should dig them up for you. There was one time a bunch of friends and I went to Taco Bell. We got home and just had a spread of crap on the table. Like, it filled there was like 3 of us, and it filled an entire dining room table. We tried things that no one even tries at Taco Bell. Like, there's usually like 4 things that everyone gets. We got those things that no one ever tried. So that's probably what it was. $26 or so.
All right. I mean, I think mine was like 15 the most for myself, but
actually this was not drunk. This was sober. My friend Joe and I did 5 double burgers from Five Guys just to see if we could do it. That was painful. That was fun. That was my only meal of the day.
All right. Hey, Mike, what makes you smile?
Just, I think, and it sounds so corny, just helping someone. Like when I get these emails or these texts about, you changed my life, this job is awesome, thank you for bringing me on, or anything like that, seeing other people happy makes me happy as hell.
So a little kind of a deep one here. I've been looking for some new fun questions to ask.
Oh man,
it's kind of it's kind of deep, but it kind of goes along with what we talked about earlier with doing something you hate. Mike, to you, what is the difference between living and existing?
Living is kind of causing happiness for other people, having an impact on the world in a positive way. Existing is, to me, just going through the motions, not really doing much, but just kind of being around.
Okay. All right. So this one's kind of funny and totally wrong, but I don't care because I think it's an awesome question to ask. Mike, and it's almost like I want to ask the third question. So this is kind of a play on a name game that Tanner did one day at MFF. But Mike, could you be persuaded to kill someone? If your answer is no, how much money would it take to change your mind?
Yes, I could probably be persuaded. No.
Okay, now the name game, and this is building off the name game at MFF that day was, if you could get away with it, what would you do?
Oh my God. I would, wow, this is interesting.
I don't know. It's like a really dark, macabre kind of thing to ask. But like the name game was, I want to know your name, and I want to know if you could get away with murder, how would you do it?
Oh my God, let me think here. I'm trying to think of like what I want to. I would probably. I don't know if I'd want to do like a Robin Hood, like steal from banks and give it to everyone, or if I'd want to steal from banks and buy Ferraris for my friends. I don't know. I feel like I would. Holy crap, man! This is tough because I'm trying to think of like a victimless crime, but it's kind of hard. I'd probably walk into a bank vault and walk out, which is pretty ironic because I worked in banking for like 8 years and never once seriously thought about it.
So wait, you actually worked in a branch bank and not like in a town?
Oh yeah, I was in multiple branches of different banks. I was manager and had access to all these vaults, and there's like $500,000 just sitting there. And it's weird because it's like, it's almost like just a product on a shelf. Like if you work in a grocery store and you see, green beans on a shelf, this is just money. It's like, you can't have it. I'm hungry, but I can't eat it,
Yeah.
It's interesting to be around it and just not think of it like money.
It's, I like that you said it's like a grocery store. When I worked at a cupcake shop in New York, when I first lived in New York, people were like, "Oh my God, how do you not eat all these cupcakes all day?" I'm like,
right. They're not mine.
Around these cupcakes all day.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, I don't know. I know how these things are made. I know that pigeons fly in the ceiling above where these things are baked. I don't want those.
That's not vanilla.
It tastes strange today. That's a new spice blend. Cool. So, Mike, again, just to get into some nerd stuff, what do you nerd out about? Like, what gets you a raging nerd boner in life?
Star Wars. I love Star Wars so much. I have Star Wars Legos that I just sit down and put together and throw on my shelves. I watch YouTube videos about Star Wars, like theories, and I think that shit is so cool. So,
well, cool. Then let's nerd out on some Star Wars, because that gets my dick really hard. Turns that lightsaber bright red.
You're a sicko.
Double bladed for pleasure, for her pleasure. Always for her pleasure. Sometimes for mine. Sometimes. People are going to be like, what the fuck, Robbie? You talked about eating asshole, and now you're talking about a double-paper lightsaber. Whoa!
It's all good.
Jokes my mind thought would be funny. So what are your thoughts on Disney taking over?
I love it. I think Lucas messed up 1, 2, and 3 really bad. And I think everyone was a little scared that when Disney took over, because they're like, oh, family movies, but they forget that Disney took over Marvel and they're killing it. And so far, Rogue One and God, I sound like a jerk now. What was the other one?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
The repeat of A New Hope. I think they're all going to be repeats from what I've gathered.
Yeah, I think it's great that Disney did it. They know what they're doing. They're great at what they do. A little nervous about the next one because I don't want them to repeat things, but I really hope Rey is like the bad one. I hope they switch it.
I'm glad you said that because that was my exact thought after Force Awakens. Is I was like, what if Rey actually becomes the bad guy? And emo Kylo Ren becomes the good guy, and he joins Brand New and Dashboard, and they create the Wrens, because that would be an amazing band. Let's be honest. And they go on the tour of the galaxy. There's a part of me that wants that to happen, but there's my big gripe is that now they're like, oh, we're going to do an Obi-Wan movie. We don't need an Obi-Wan movie. We really don't. We don't need a young Han Solo. That movie doesn't exist, by the way, Mike. Yeah. I won't go see it. Doesn't exist in my mind.
Are you really not going to see it?
I refuse. Harrison Ford is Han Solo. No one else gets to play Han Solo. It's Harrison Ford.
It's tough. I think the Obi-Wan movie can be awesome. I would pay. Oh my God. I would kill. That's the crime I could commit. I could be convinced of killing if there was a standalone Darth Vader movie. If they made that, I would just lose my mind.
Well, the thing is, you could do it because as long as someone's in the suit.
Right. Anyone could be that dude. James Earl Jones.
Well, hold on. Because with what they've done with audio, you basically could just run a program where James Earl Jones says whatever.
Right.
Like James Earl Jones, just read every word in the English language, record everything in every context, and then like every way you can, we're going to do a movie for like 10 years of Darth Vader's adventures. I'm cool with that.
Oh my God. Hard pork.
Now, being the Star Wars nerd that I am, I was really pissed off when Disney was like, well, all the great stories that Lucas has been telling for years via books and video games are no longer canon.
Oh, right.
And my listeners and my friends know this, that I say all the time, no, Disney, fuck you. If Protestants and Catholics get 2 different Bibles, Star Wars fans get 2 different canons. Go fuck yourself.
They're just control freaks.
Exactly. I kind of get it, but also no.
Right.
So what story from like the expanded universe or character would you love to see either get like a Netflix series or an actual film?
Darth Maul. I guess most of his stuff is canon now with like Rebels cartoons and stuff. I would love for him to get a standalone film too. I think it's kind of weird though how like they chopped him in half and then they're like, LOL, just kidding. He's coming back. I don't think that was part of the plan, but they realized how cool he was. So they just brought him back. And, Jar Jar Binks needs to go away too.
Yeah, that's why I could never finish watching Clones, because the Clone Wars. Now, the first Clone Wars series was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was on 2000. That was like 2001 and 2 on Cartoon Network. The next one I couldn't watch because they had some stupid like episode where him and like Leia's adopted dad. Why am I forgetting his name? Bail Organa. Ran off and did an adventure thing. And I was like, wait a minute. This is like that time that Goku and Piccolo like drove a car. This is stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Get out of here.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's tough because we love this stuff so much that no matter what they do, it's probably not going to be good enough. But we can't create it ourselves, so we just kind of have to deal with it.
What's the craziest Star Wars theory you've seen on YouTube?
Oh God, the Jar Jar Binks is like a Sith Lord, and he's the one that orchestrated everything. And I'm sure you've probably heard of it. There's like 18-minute videos about it, analyzing everything from a backflip he does off a little bridge to like him putting Palpatine in the running for the Senate and all this stuff. It would be, I mean, it's impossible, obviously, but I don't know, that's probably the craziest one I've seen.
I mean, it would be crazy, and it would make sense if it wasn't a goddamn cartoon character.
Right.
Like, if you didn't have Roger Rabbit up there, like, splurting and spitting all over the camera, like,
yeah.
I could maybe have seen that.
Yeah, he's not like this grand master of manipulation.
No. I mean, the idea of delivering him as, like, a complete imbecile, sure.
Right.
But, yeah. All right, so let me ask this now that we're gonna wrap up on this one, and I'm gonna sit down for it. So we obviously are not fans of the prequels. I do enjoy episode 1 for the pod race scene because in like really good surround sound, it's still really fantastic.
That was a fun video game on N64 too.
Hell yeah, it was. Oh man, that and Rogue Squadron. Oh, I've got Rogue Squadron right now. Shadows of the Empire. Oh man. Super Star Wars, and Super Empire Strikes Back, Super Return of the Jedi. Tough games. Games. Mike, if Disney called and they were like, listen, you got like half of the people at Lucasfilm jacked with Stronger You. We didn't tell you who we were, but you got us all jacked. We want you to be the director for, we're going to redo episode 1, 2, and 3. How would you create the story of Darth Vader? Young Darth Vader.
Oh my God. Whew. This is tough because in the prequels, like when he was turning, I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. But you know it happens. There's no way around it. To create the story of him, oh my God, man. This is the hardest question I've ever gotten in my life. I can't even make anything up on this. Could it be like, oh my God, Uncle Owen was just so pissed at Luke that he didn't harvest shit and he always went to hang out with his friends that he just flipped shit and killed everybody. He's Darth Vader, Uncle Owen.
Uncle Owen is Darth Vader.
They ran out of blue milk and he just became... That's a tough one, man. What would you do? Did you answer this before?
No, I've literally just thought of it. But the two things I would do. One, not use the films as a giant piece of marketing for what ILM can do. Because really, the whole like we filmed on green screen was look what ILM can do. You're going to give me money for the rest of your life, Hollywood. Like, they made the shit look really good.
Yeah.
I would not have Jar Jar. I understand that in some ways C-3PO and R2-D2 were kind of like the comedic relief of the originals. And he sort of pulled them in from many influences. But Jar Jar is just, I wouldn't have him. I don't mind episode 1 in the way that it's done. I wouldn't reveal who the Chancellor is. Like I wouldn't even use the name Palpatine. Don't use Palpatine
immediately.
Yeah, don't use that, and don't pan over at the end that there's one more Sith. Like the Phantom Menace should be a Phantom that you never allude to.
Right.
You can kill Maul, you can do all that stuff. Qui-Gon should not be as stoic as he is. I need a little more heart. With clones, I don't mind the Clone Wars, and what I would do is hire someone who can write a love story to write the love story because Lucas can't write a love story.
I hated that. I thought it was just the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, he can't write a love story, and then the third one, like even in the second one, there needs to be a whole lot more build up to Anakin turning. Because all of a sudden it's like, I have your lightsaber in your face, Palpatine. Yeah. You're the Sith. Oh my God. I'm going to go tell Mace Windu, I'm going to confront you. Anakin, I'm going to kill. What? That doesn't make it.
That's all it took? Yeah.
There was no dramatic. There was no like, he's going to kill. Like, come on. Like, I need more of a turn than that. So those are the things that like I would fix. Maybe some more practical effects than just all CGI.
Yeah, he did turn way too quick, and that was kind of like, like they could have a whole movie on that transgression.
Yeah, and that's what Revenge of the Sith should have been. Like the climax really should have been Anakin turning, and then fighting with Obi-Wan. Which, I mean, the fight was kind of like this build up, but it wasn't like the turn should have felt like our hearts have been ripped out of our chest. Like, we know it. It's like the Titanic sinking. Like, you know how Titanic is going to end. Right. But you're still watching this story. You're still engrossed in it, and you still feel bad at the end. So that's what I would have liked to have seen. And also midi-chlorians. Get rid of that shit.
Yeah. It makes me think of mitochondria. The powerhouse of the cell, what everyone says. Like, oh, God.
I know this sounds like I'm about to defend midi-chlorians, and I've written them in as a reference in a couple articles. I kind of get why he sort of did it, because like at least now you hear more about how gut bacteria actually can influence our brains, and you're like, oh, that's kind of like midichlorians, and like that stuff was kind of sort of happening then. So like he kind of pulled that from science. Like, I get it, but you also defeated the mythology and the mysticism of Star Wars. So,
yeah.
Not everything has to be explained with science, George.
Yeah. So. You don't have to argue studies for everything. Sometimes people are a little more tricky than that.
Yeah, a lot more tricky. Well, Mike, dude, I've enjoyed chatting with you. And the last question I always love to ask to everyone who's a coach and works with clients is, what is the most important thing that you try to display to your clients?
Just real life. Like, be flexible with this stuff. Don't take it so serious. But if you actually want results, accept that you do have to make changes. And as cliche as it sounds, you can't expect change without change. And I think a lot of people go into this stuff trying to make whatever lifestyle they currently have work with their new lifestyle. And sometimes you just have to adjust a little bit.
I'm probably going to come back to the end of this podcast episode and write all of those words down, because I feel like I just got punched in the gut a little bit. Just some life things. That you gotta change if you want change to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
all right.
And treat treats as treats. It sounds a little confusing, but it makes sense when you hear it back.
Yeah, treat treats as treats.
Yeah. You can't eat them all day long.
Nope. No matter how much you try and finagle your macros and IFYM it. Trust me, I've eaten 2 pounds of tilapia so I could eat 2 pints of Ben and Jerry's. Ain't that fun?
Oh, it's not worth it.
No.
Eat some broccoli, eat some potatoes, have some chicken breast. It's all good.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on, brother. And I have enjoyed the chat. Guys, all the show notes will be over at sidequestfitness.com/StrongerYou. So you can listen to the podcast over there, get links to Stronger You, get links to all their stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and everything. Definitely check out their work. Really great work going on over there at Stronger You. So, Mike, thank you again so much for coming on.
Thanks, Robbie. I'll see you probably Kansas City this year coming up.
Always.
Or I'll just come to, where are you, North Carolina or something?
Georgia now.
Georgia. I can't keep track of you. We'll come, we'll have ice cream, we'll eat tilapia, and everything will be cool.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Robbie.
Step up and you gotta get it fitness. Host Rob at the moment and the quest is you gotta check it and wreck it. You're breaking personal records, and with the help of the guests you won't be guessing on the lessons. That's a +5 fears. Got a low-key band right here. You wanna meet him, there's no better way to greet him than to strike a boss pose. Take a look into the mirror.